I have something big for you today, something that will instantly make you a better animator. In fact, this 3D animation only took me 12 minutes to make from this static picture. I'm so happy to announce new Photomotion Portrait that is now the fastest and the easiest way to make 3D photo animations in After Effects. This will change the way you animate. You see, we took the original Photomotion and completely rebuilt it from the ground up. It's now fully responsive, so you can export to any resolution and any aspect ratio. And most importantly, we've made it easy to work with, that you will finally be able to incorporate these animations into your animation workflow. Okay, so let's start with something like this. So that's the picture that you saw earlier. We're gonna animate that in Photomotion Portrait. So let's just go to Start Portrait. This is the actual animation. I'll show you step by step in a second. I just wanted to show you here that powerful 3D layer system now that we have in Photomotion. What I mean by that is that if you move this controller here, you will be able to see that they're actually moving in a different depth space. So let's take this balloon, for example. That's the balloon in front of her. We can delete that and we can add it again just to show you how it actually works. Enable 3D, and then obviously that balloon is now huge and it's behind her and it's causing all sorts of problems, like it's not moving as it should be moving. So we just need to parent it into one of our parent objects, and that will do the rest for you. So if you hold down Shift and parent it into this one, for example, if you single click on that parent 3D, you can change depth here, so we can put it closer or further down like this. Now, of course, that balloon is now huge, so we need to do something about that, and you can simply just scale that layer down a little bit, something like this, and just move it up. That looks pretty cool. If you play the animation, the spacebar, you'll see that that object is now there and it's playing like this. So yeah, pretty cool. What we are actually doing here is we are applying a couple of additional adjustments to those layers. So it's not just the actual camera that is moving, but we are actually moving the layers themselves as well. And we're applying some displacement maps and stuff like that. We also have a new animation controller. That is this blue button down here. So if you single click on it, you'll see all of these options that we've added. So for example, things like depth of field, you can enable that here. You have really granular control over that blur, even on her face. So you can increase that. And you see that looks pretty decent, I would say. Let's just disable that for a second because it kind of slows down the actual animation. But I tend to enable this when I'm finished with animating. I just enable that and hit render, and that's it. A bunch of other options here, really. We've changed quite a bit of those. So for example, what you can do now is move the actual camera position, so you can move within that scene like this. Previously, you were only able to move the angle of that camera, so this is really cool. Now, of course, you can still move the angle of the camera. Rotation, zoom, of course, you can zoom into that 3D scene like this. That is pretty cool. We also have a bunch of boosters here. You can increase that 3D space, so that's the distance between those layers in that 3D space. You can put handheld boost on it. This is pretty cool. I love this feature. It actually simulates handheld movement of the camera and is fully looped as well, so that's pretty decent. And of course, all of this still works with our 3D particle system. So if you click down here, you now see this nice drop down. So you can choose particles. That's the density of these particles, so we can put high density. And then you can choose different kind of presets that we have here. This is kind of dust, but you can put rain if you want that. There we go. And of course, that is still fully integrated into that scene. So you can see that it still moves with the camera. That's pretty nice. We've added 3D effects as well, so if you go down here and single click on that button, you can choose different types of effects like lens flares, for example. So if you enable that, you can see that lens flares over there, and it's fully looped as well, so it is really nice, and it works with our perfect cut system. I'll show you that in a second. You can choose between close and distant effects. So if you put something like, I don't know, this texture, that texture is going to be behind her, as you can see. So that lives down there. What I like to do sometimes is to put some light leak or lens flare behind, so that kind of gives it kind of different feel for that animation. So something like this, looking pretty nice. You can of course change everything about this picture, including the background itself. If you go to Add Mask, you can add a different background here. So I have another one, which is this one. Let's just get rid of the original one and then go back to dashboard, and there we go. So that's a different background, looking pretty nice actually. As I said before, this update is for Photomotion Portrait, but you can expect the same level of improvements coming into all of our 6 projections. So Horizon, Parallax, Depth, Mirage and Glacier, all of them will be getting this update later on. Okay, so let's animate something together. I have this picture here, really simple picture to animate. It should take us 2-3 minutes to do. So let's go to After Effects and open Photomotion Portrait, double click on Start Portrait, and then you can see these arrows now. You know always what to do. Double click to add photo. So that's what we're gonna do. Double click, and you can see just drag and drop that image right there. Scale it down a little bit. Something like this is all right, I think. Can move it down slightly. Yeah, something like that looks pretty good. As you can see down here, it shows you that this picture is in fact 4K. The final animation that you're going to be rendering out is 4K. But Photomotion is now fully responsive, as I said before. What that means is that you can specify specific resolution you want. It could be more than 4K, it could be 8K if you want. It could be different aspect ratio as well. So for example, if you single click on that and go to Effect Controls, you can choose, I don't know if you want vertical image, it could be 1080 by 1920. So that's going to be your final animation when you render it out. And it could be really something ridiculous, 4000 by 4000, it's still a square, right? Anyway, let's go back to 3840-160, that's the 4K resolution that we're going to be rendering out. We can then close this composition and get back to dashboard. Another arrow here is pointing to set face, so double click on that. And this is our new user interface for setting up your face. It's really easy to do. It's really self-explanatory. You have 4 faces here on this left side dock. All you need to do is really just grab one of these and drag it over the face. And on the right side, you have different objects that you can add to that. So for example, hair, sunglasses, I don't know, beard and stuff like that. Stuff that is not necessarily included in that default mesh that we're going to be adding. So let's just drag and drop this face over there, something like this. We can make it slightly bigger. So obviously this picture is relatively simple because she's looking straight to the camera, but if you have something more complex, more complicated, you can always grab this controller and just move it. You have all sorts of positions here, so let's just leave it like this. And you have also granular control over that mesh itself. So if you zoom in, you have this Puppet engine now available in Photomotion. We used to have Liquify and Mesh Warp, but Puppet just works so much better. It's so much faster as well. So you can see that I've added a bunch of points here. So for example, making her eyes slightly bigger. You can add new Puppet points if you want. So let's put that there. Yeah, something like that would do, I think. But of course, as you can see, she's got hair. So how do we put hair into this image? And you do that with these objects on the right hand side. All you need to do the same thing as before. We're just going to drag and drop this over here, and then we're going to create a mask around her hair. Something really simple, doesn't have to be precise whatsoever. So that's our mask for her hair. And all you need to do now is just grab this yellow button and move it over here, and that is going to generate a depth map for you. So this is the final depth map that we're going to be using for that animation. You have so much control over this. So if you single click on that hair, for example, you can specify how dark that depth map is at that point down there. You can grab this point, move it somewhere else if you want something like this. And we are now recalculating these depth maps in relation to the face itself. And there's nothing else we need to do here, really. It's time to animate. So we can close this composition, get back to dashboard, and now you can see our full interface is available. You have this controller here that you can drag, and you can see this is almost real time now. Let's put it at 100 frames and move that controller somewhere here. something like that. And then if you hit spacebar, there we go. That's the animation. That plays in real time. We now have full caching for your animation. Let me just demonstrate that again. Let's just go to Edit, Purge, All Memory and Disk Cache, and let's hit OK. That's gonna, of course, reload this viewport, and now you can see there's nothing there. And if you hit the spacebar, just pay attention what happens over here. You can see real time 20 or 30 FPS, and there we go. The animation is now fully cached. All the length of the animation, 30 seconds cached in like that. So this is gonna save you so much time that you wouldn't believe. And what's probably the best about this new caching system in Photomotion is that it actually translates into faster render times as well. So this is, of course, very simple animation, but we can still enhance it by adding some particles. So let's just go for high. Because these are not the best for this animation. If you click here, you can still zoom in, zoom out, rotation. You can do camera offsets now as well. Those are pretty cool, actually. Camera target rotation, that's pretty good. All sorts of stuff that I explained before. But what if you want to export something for social media as well? You don't need to reanimate it again. All you need to do is just double click on Add Photo, go back to that original composition. And as we said before, you just change it here. So if I want something for Instagram, for example, that would be, let's say, horizontal, sorry, vertical, 1920, so something like this. If you go back to dashboard now, it will show you that animation like this. And if you then go to that export composition, we'll tell you what to do. So all you need to do here is just change the aspect ratio so it matches, change the actual resolution so it matches what we say here. So that's 1080. Let's just disable that by 1920. There we go. And you can render this out. You have these loops. So what that means, if you want, for example, 2 loops, that is the second one. So that's 400 frames. All you need to do is just type 400 here and hit N on your keyboard. And this is going to be your perfectly looped animation. So that's all nice and great that we have all of those features available now. But how does that really compare to other tools that are available on the market? Let's have a look at this one, for example. So in here, you can see they have very similar interface, but we're going to overlook that for now and just do exactly the same setup. So we have this picture here. Obviously, that was the original image like that. We just made a cutout of it. And then within the mesh setup here, we did the hair, we set up the mesh. And that's the displacement map that we were given. Doesn't look great, but I think it would do for simple animation like this. So let's have a look back in here. You just have to deselect everything, and I guess it's the main controller. So let's do the same thing. Let's put it in 100. And we're gonna go this way. Oh yeah, because you can immediately see this is slower. But that wouldn't be the main issue. Okay, guess something like this would do. Maybe we can add a little bit of zoom. If I find it here. Okay, here is something. So it's probably that. Yeah, I guess something like this. Right. And now if we... how do I loop this? So the problem now is obviously we need to render out 400 frames. But it seems it doesn't have a looping feature. So obviously that stops on frame 100. So I guess the only way to do that would be to copy those, to copy those keyframes and put it here, copy those, put it at 300, and copy those, put it at 400. I mean, that's not great, but I guess that's what it is. Alright, so let's export this thing. Export presets, I guess this one. Yeah, we need 4K. Let's open that up. Yep, that's already there, 400. I mean, well, we'll see how this goes, but it already looks a bit slower. So let's be fair now and go to Edit, Purge all memory and disk cache, as you can see here. Hit OK, and then we're gonna send this to the render queue. Oh, actually, we're gonna use media encoder so we can output MP4 file. So let's go to File, Export, add to media encoder queue. Just double checking. Yeah, that's 4K resolution. Yeah, hardware encoding. Everything seems fine. Just gonna put it on the desktop. Yeah, that all looks fine. Hit the start button and let's see what happens. So it looks like 2.5 minutes probably for 400 frames. Okay, so that's the benchmark that we need to overtake with Photomotion, and I think we will. There we go, so that's now done. If you hover over this, 2 minutes 51 seconds. Cool, I'll leave that there. The same thing in the Photomotion. So the controller going from left to right, slight zoom over here, and you can already see that this is way quicker. At least it feels way snappier. Okay, so let's go to Export Animation and just double check this is a 4K. And then, as before, we just gonna go purge all memory and disk cache, just to be fair. Click OK, and 400 frames, that's already set, and we can send it over to media encoder. So again, just verifying that it is 4K actually, and we are using hardware encoding. There it is, perfect. So hit OK. Yeah, that's fine wherever that is. Hit play. Let's have a look. We'll see if this beats that 2 minutes 50 seconds, and I think it will. We are, what, 15 seconds in, and we are almost done. See, this is the power of caching. So that cache actually gets transferred to media encoder, and it is just beautiful. This is going to save you so much time. As you can see, we are done. And it only took 30 seconds compared to 2 minutes and 51 seconds. That's a massive difference. Caching, thumbs up. You definitely gonna love this. And look, here's the thing. I don't even want to trash this specific competitor because even our previous Photomotion Portrait wasn't that great. It was relatively slow, and we've added that caching that helped a lot, and we obviously optimized the whole project. Anyway, we'll keep pushing and we'll see how much more we can squeeze out from After Effects. I hope you are as excited as I am, because this new Photomotion Portrait really changes a lot of things. It really allows you to be more creative, create animations faster, and really expand your skill sets. So it is available right now. There is a link below this video. Let me know what you think of it by giving this video a thumbs up, and definitely subscribe to our channel, because there will be a ton of new Photomotion content coming out. If you have any ideas or questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and get ready for more exciting stuff like this. I'll see you in the next video.